Good afternoon and welcome to Beyond My Truth. I'm Tayshawn and today we are going to dive in. I want to first say very quickly, I know in my previous video I said that I would try not to exceed 7 minutes, but I've been trying to prepare this video for quite some time today and 7 minutes just is not enough. So I'm going to roll with it. Hopefully I won't exceed 15 minutes. If you find after you've watched the video that my time frame is entirely too long and you can't handle it, just hit me up, send a comment, let me know. Be like, girl, that was too long, I can't do it. If you can roll with me a little bit longer, if you want to hear more, let me know that too, because I can definitely continue with my story. I might be able to get a little bit more information than I anticipated in each video. So you keep me informed and I will try to make this fit and work as best as it can for all of us. That out of the way, today we are going to talk about feelings of inadequacy, and the points that I would like to talk about are, number one, what is inadequacy to Tayshawn? Like, how does that really play out in her life? In what ways do I feel inadequate? Secondarily, I'm going to talk about where those feelings and thoughts originated in my life. And lastly, I'm going to talk about how they developed over time. If you have watched any of my videos, you know that this channel is about positivity and promoting growth and healthy a healthy mental state. Truly about actually getting beyond your own thoughts. So with that said, I will begin each video or each topic with the scripture that relates to whatever it is that we're speaking on in that moment. And today the scripture I'm going to read is Psalms chapter 139 verses 14 through 17. And I specifically chose this scripture because we need to know how God created us. So that being said, here we go. I will give thanks and praise to you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being formed in secret, and intricately and skillfully formed, as if embroidered with many colors in the depths of the earth. Your eyes have seen my unformed substance, and in your book were all written the days that were appointed for me, when as yet there was not one of them even taking shape. How precious also are your thoughts to me, O God! How vast is the sum of them. That's the Amplified version. Many of you may have heard that before. You may have heard some of that scripture. More than likely, you've at least heard that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, before we were even thought of, before we were an inkling, a star, a thought in our mother or anybody else's mind, God was creating us perfectly how he wanted to. I mean, like, every little detail about who we are, the way we look, our personalities, the way we think, the way we break things down, the way we react to things. God created those things in us before anything or any thought of us was ever attained. It also says that our days were appointed. So everything that happens in our life, he already knew. He already knew based on who we were and what we were going to do and the things that we faced. He already knows all of that. And he still sees us perfectly. Like, he made us the way that he made us for his purpose intentionally and perfectly. It don't get no better than that. And his thoughts of us in all that we do, no matter what it is, he still sees us as good. If you are struggling, if you are feeling like you are not enough in any way, shape, or form, I implore you to stand on that word. Like, make it your daily mantra. Read it daily and implant. I am fearfully, wonderfully made. Like, I am made in the image of God. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. If you begin to speak that to yourself every day, it'll be much easier for you to fight off the feelings of inadequacy that you struggle with. So, I stand on that, okay? Getting into my own story, I can remember in my childhood, like, I specifically remember feeling like I was not enough. before I get into the story, I do want to say anything that I share on this channel that involves another person, I'm sharing from my perspective. Nothing that I say am I saying to demonize anyone, to make anyone feel bad, to make anyone look bad, because I believe in most situations the things that happened in my life or happened around me were not done intentionally. You know, I don't think most people are out to hurt you. I think that based on our own thoughts and our own perspective, we create ideals in our mind that are not necessarily true. So everything that I share, I just want you to know I love these people dearly, and I'm not out to demonize anybody. So please don't listen to anything that I say and reflect on them as negative, because that's not the purpose. I'm just telling you my perspective and where some things originated in my life. Okay, so back to it. When I was a child, I can remember probably around, I remember, I think it started around 8 or 9 years old. I have an aunt that is the same age as me, and I was constantly compared to her. In my childhood, it wasn't a direct comparison. What I mean by that was, I may have just been in her presence and people were talking about how beautiful she was, how intelligent she was, how she should be a model, she should be in pageants, she could do whatever she wanted, she could become whoever she wanted to be. And no one was saying those things to her and then telling me that I couldn't do those things or that I was not those things. I just was not receiving those same affirmations. So as a little girl, seeing someone else receiving all of this, being lavished on in that way, and then you're not receiving those acknowledgments, it made me feel like I was being compared to her and I was not good enough. And this was by adults, this was by our peers. We had a cousin that was the same age as us. Literally, we were born in July, August, October, so we were all the same age. And he used to torment me. I mean, you know, we were kids, so that's what we did. And he used to tell me, oh, she's so much prettier than you, she's so this, and that. And it was just because we were kids. But receiving that from him, seeing her get all of this attention and accolades from adults, having our peers look at her the way that they did, I often felt compared to her, even if I was not directly compared. And I do remember we were in the 7th grade, and you know, everybody goes school shopping, and this is very indirect, so I want to share this with you just to show you how some things can affect you, and it definitely is not intentional. We were in the 7th grade. Everybody goes school shopping right before school starts, and we were staying with my aunt that is older than us. It's my aunt that's the same age as me. It was her sister and my aunt. So we were staying with her for the summer, and she worked at Merry-Go-Round. I don't know if y'all remember that store. And she worked at Merry-Go-Round, and my grandmother had sent money up to my aunt so that she could get her clothes for her school shopping. So we go to Merry-Go-Round, and we are walking around the store, and my aunt is picking up nearly one of everything in the store, and I get nothing. Now, as an 11, 12-year-old 7th grader, I didn't know the details behind that. I didn't know that my grandmother sent money up there for her to go school shopping. And very honestly, even if I did, it probably wouldn't have made a difference because I was a child. To me, that equated as, dang, I'm not even good enough to get a shirt. Like, she getting a whole store and I'm not getting anything. But that had nothing to do with me. My grandmother sent money for her to go school shopping. But this is how it manifested for me because I didn't know any of that. And as I stated, as a child, even if I did, it probably wouldn't have mattered. Now, I go from this childhood of feeling like I'm being compared to her indirectly. I have these situations in my life with her that have nothing to do with me but create this feeling of inadequacy indirectly. And then I get older, and I remember in my teenage years being directly compared to her. Like, why don't you do this like her? Why don't you try this like her? I remember specifically talking about schooling. Now, I was studious, probably until about my 11th year. I did very well in school. And when I got in the 11th grade, you know, I was doing some other things. I was in the boys, whatever. but I still maintained. But I remember being told to be more like her. So all of my childhood, my adolescence, now my teenage years, I have been indirectly and directly compared to her, which made me feel like I was not pretty enough, I was not smart enough, I was not good enough, I just was not enough. So that's where it started, right? And I just told you how it continued to grow over time. Then, outside of her, I am someone that hadn't blossomed yet. You know, most of us have to blossom at some point in life. You know, some of y'all might have came out fly, but that wasn't my story. I was always very small. In high school, I probably was a maximum of 100 pounds wet. I had very, very, very thick glasses. If you know me, I still have thick glasses, but thank God for contacts. My teeth were crooked, huge overbite. I was the prime pickings to be made fun of, and I was. I moved at one point in my life, in the 7th grade. I moved from Texas to Maryland, so I had this twang. I come up here, looking how I look. I have this crazy accent, and I was picked on a lot. Like until about the 11th grade. Very honest, I remember being tormented and made fun of. So again, starting with my childhood in comparison to my aunt, that led up through my teenage years, and then I have my childhood, my adolescence, teenage years being made fun of horribly, and then my teenage years going into my adulthood when I start getting in relationships. And I was in some relationships where I wasn't treated very well. And, I get it. People argue, when you're mad at someone, you say some things, you might not mean them. Sometimes you might. But I remember being compared to previous girlfriends, how their bodies were better than mine, how they were prettier than me, to ideal girlfriends, somebody that they were crushing on, somebody that they might have wanted to be with, just how I didn't do this and I wasn't that. There were a lot of comparisons made, and even if there weren't necessary outright comparisons, like I got into some relationships where people treated me very well, but based on everything that I had built up from my childhood, I became so insecure about who I was that there was nothing that could be said that made me feel like I was good enough. So this is what I carried from 8, 9 to honestly adulthood. And I would be lying to you if I said to you that I'm over that I don't feel inadequate ever anymore. That just wouldn't be true. So what I have to do every day is tell myself that I am good enough. I have to remind myself how I was made. I have to remind myself that, again, God made me in his image, and I know God don't make no junk. I know who God is. He is amazing, and if I'm made in his image, I have to be amazing too. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So what I implore you to do today is, if you are struggling with any level of inadequacy, if you feel like you don't have enough, you are not good enough, you are not pretty enough, you are not smart enough, whatever it is that you feel that you are not adequate in, remove those lies by telling yourself, I am what God says I am, and he says that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. It's just that simple. And I know it takes time, because I still have to tell myself that. But I'm telling you right now that if you are struggling, if you need support, if you need me to be your cheerleader, if you need me to remind you, if you need me to send you a text, whatever it is that you need, let me know. And I'll be here to help you get beyond your truth. It's really a journey, and I'm here to walk this journey out with you. I want you to know that you are enough. You are more than enough, because God made you to be more than enough, and I need you to hold and stand strong in that. I'm going to get into some some deeper portions of that next week, but I don't want to go on and on. So with that said, the scripture again is Psalms chapter 139, verses 14 through 17. I want to remind you that people do not usually say and do things to intentionally hurt you. We take on these things and we create our own considerations around the things that we've heard and seen, and we make them our reality, and it's not real. It's not the truth of who you are. Be blessed. Stand on that. Stand on that. Please share this video. If there's anyone that you think might benefit from it, share it. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Please be engaged with me. I want to make sure that this is relevant for you. So engage with me, like, comment, subscribe. Be blessed and have a wonderful week.